Anyone who works at LinkedIn, you can come for me, but you know what you're doing and you know I'm right. If you've ever wondered why your LinkedIn ads might feel expensive and not actually getting the results you want, it might not be your fault. LinkedIn has this sneaky habit of quietly turning things on in your campaign, which sound like they might be beneficial to you, but actually are just draining your budget faster. It's sad and disappointing that 90% of the ad accounts that I order on LinkedIn and the businesses I speak to fall into one of these three traps and are wasting 50% plus of their advertising spend when some of them can be fixed so easily. Two of the three hidden traps in this video are hidden settings that LinkedIn makes you think might benefit your campaign, but you can turn off today and see your results improve massively overnight. The third one is a trap, a mistake that beginners, intermediates, and experts running LinkedIn ads often fall into, sometimes don't want to hear, but is a fundamental reason why they're not getting more leads more often. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly where those traps are, how to avoid them in the future, and make sure the next 500 to £1,000 you spend on LinkedIn ads, or indeed the first 500 to £1,000 you spent on LinkedIn ads, isn't a waste of money and actually gets the result you're looking for. Right, trap number one, and it's the one that I'm most frustrated with LinkedIn about. It is called the audience network. And every so often, LinkedIn updates its interface and how you view LinkedIn Ads Campaign Manager. And it tries to hide this because they know it's fucking your ad campaigns up. They know that people should be turning it off, but consistently they try and hide it behind a different drop down menu, a different part of the when you create the ad campaigns. And effectively, what this does is it shows what it's supposed to do, and what it tells you to do is, yeah, we're going to deliver you more impressions by reaching the same users you're targeting, but on different platforms, different devices, more placements across the internet. What it does in reality, and we've tested this extensively with clients and proved it wholeheartedly, it throws away all that hard-earned targeting. You could be building the best, most specific list of specific job titles of senior decision makers from companies in your CRM list, from your HubSpot that you've uploaded to LinkedIn. You've excluded out certain companies that you're already speaking to. You're adding other parameters and behavioral things. You've gone to the nth degree, made it really super specific for your messaging. If you leave that little tick box still ticked on, which is on by default as well, it ignores all of that. So it ignores all, even if you're specifically targeting UK business owners in the IT industry between 50 to 500 employees, what you'll see is that a hell of a lot of clicks when your audience networks come on from random places around the world: Zimbabwe, Zanzibar, and another place beginning with Z, right? You can actually see when you look into Google Analytics, you can see the absolute awful levels of traffic that you're getting when you leave the audience network on. Yes, it might sound like it's doing you a benefit, but please, 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 if you take one thing away from this video, always double check to turn off LinkedIn audience network. You might think, why does LinkedIn bother doing it? It's because it can inflate the numbers. When you leave audience network on, the clicks will look really cheap. So if you don't do any more digging, you'll see that the traffic you're acquiring, the cost per click, looks really good because it's all junk. If you go in a level deeper and look at Google Analytics, and also from the fact that you're probably not getting the results you should be doing from your budget, you'll see that these people either, and it's quite a clever way some of these spam sites and bots traffic do it, is either the engagement is completely not there, so they just instantly go out and bounce, or the engagement's so high because they realize that people are checking for bouncing traffic and things like that, that it'll look like some people are visiting 200 pages on your account and spending 25 minutes on your specific B2B website. So here's the fix. Make sure you're scrolling to the right position on LinkedIn Campaigns Manager when you're setting up your ad account, and double, triple, quadruple check the audience network is unticked. It is ticked on by default now. So many times when we've taken on ad accounts from other businesses, whether they work with other agencies or someone in-house, we'll check the historic data and why they won't be getting results, and we'll be able to see, right, oh, 60, 70% of your budget, maybe 50%, maybe 40% was going to audience network, and it's all trash. There's also a way to double check within Ads Manager. You can view which impressions, clicks, spend, all metrics are on the network. So that means on your LinkedIn feed versus off network. So yeah, make sure it's off. And anyone who works at LinkedIn, you can come for me, but you know what you're doing and you know I'm right. Okay, trap number 2 is quite similar. It's called audience expansion. This one isn't as sneaky or devilish because theoretically it sounds like it could help. When you're using Meta advertising, Google advertising, they're quite good at finding people similar to your audience that might expand the reach of your campaigns and help you find more people who you might not be thinking is in your audience, but it helps the campaign out. Sadly, LinkedIn isn't as sophisticated as that. When it says we'll help you to reach people similar to your target audience, again, it sort of just ignores everything you've set up. And you can actually drill down again and do these tests yourself and view in LinkedIn the different job title data, the different company data, the different location data, side by side with a campaign that you've very specifically selected your target audience for versus one that you've had that same target audience but ticked audience expansion on. And you'll see the absolute nonsense it's giving you and spending your hard-earned budget on, because effectively it just wants to spend your budget as quickly as possible. And yes, some of those clicks might be cheaper. The whole point of LinkedIn ads and it being specific to the right individuals is you want your company, your business, your offer, your product, your service in front of the right people at the right time, and you're willing to pay to get there. 10 clicks from the right people that you're trying to sell to is better than 200 clicks from completely irrelevant people that you do not want to sell to, or who don't need your product, can't afford your product, and won't buy your product. So again, really simple second one there is just make sure audience expansion is never ticked on. So those first 2 traps are quite easy. This second one is a bit more complicated and it takes a bit more work than just switching a toggle on or off. The likelihood is your ads are probably boring. Your ads are probably invisible to your target audience, and that could be why you're getting no results from it. The very, very first thing any social media advertising campaign or any advertising campaign or marketing campaign needs to do is grab your target customer's attention. What a LinkedIn ad needs to do, the very, very first step, is it needs to stop your dream customer from scrolling. You might not even realize that 1 in 3 to 4 posts on your LinkedIn feed are adverts, because so many of them are so shit, so crap, so boring, so bland, because they're written by HR. They mean nothing to nobody because they're just broad out there campaigns that are just spending budget willy-nilly from sometimes big companies, but small companies are guilty of this too. And you need to wrap your head around, even though it's a B2B ad campaign, it's still selling to a person with emotion, a person who's got an attention span, a person who needs to feel grabbed to even bother stop from scrolling whilst they're looking busy on LinkedIn in between meetings, right? One of the amazing things you can do with LinkedIn ads, like I've talked about multiple times in this video, is make it really, really specific to your specific target audience. You shouldn't only be doing that in the targeting and the settings of the campaign. You should be doing that in the ad creatives, the copy, the actual imagery or videos you're using. You're making them know that you know who you are hearing their problem, and that you can solve their problem. As well as that, they need to stop looking like everyone else's LinkedIn ads. They need to stop being the same corporate stock photo, and a hell of a lot of ads are 2 men shaking hands in a boardroom. Pointless. You can't be putting your budget behind just nothingness and blandness. I've got a few rules for you and a few exercises that might help you kill those boring ads and start creating ads that might mean something to someone and start generating real results for your business. Tip number 1 is lead with a painful truth. Too many advertisers and marketers lead with their product, the specs. Actually, initially, especially to a cold audience, no one cares about your product or service. They care about the problems they're facing in their job. They care about the issues they need to solve. They care about their next bonus, their next promotion, or how can they afford a holiday next year with their family. It's a really good starting point to make sure your ad creatives, the ad copy, the whole concept of your marketing campaign is all designed around recognizing the specific pain points and problems that your customer's facing. You don't need to do everything inside one ad, right? Too many people are guilty of trying to solve the world, get across everything they need to in one ad campaign. Really, all you need to do is click through and recognize and go to the next part of the ad campaign, right? Whether that be the landing page, whether that be a download, whether that be to book in a call, whether it's to be watch a further video. That very first 30 seconds, the very first line of copy, recognize the problem they're in. Then you can start bridging around how you solve that problem and how your product or service is the perfect solution for solving that problem and how it's done it dozens, hundreds of times before for people exactly like them and exactly in their position at companies exactly like theirs, and the results they achieved after working with you. Another tip is be so specific to exclude people. Don't be scared to exclude people, because if you try and make your advertising, copy, video, messaging appeal to everyone, it does the opposite. It appeals to no one. You've probably heard that before, but it's so true, especially when we speak to people launching their first LinkedIn ads campaigns. They try and cover all bases, and the reality, it means everything is a lot weaker than what it could be if you just try and address one ad to one specific person you're trying to deal with. You can even use references of people you've spoke with on the phone before, deals you closed before, and act like you're speaking to them and writing the copy, recording that video, creating a scroll stopping image for that individual. Because the likelihood is there's other people just like them. Don't be afraid to alienate. Don't be afraid to be divisive. And don't try and be overly polite just because it's a B2B marketing campaign. Remember, you're still advertising to real people who have real feelings. Another tip is to make the next step idiot proof and make your offer concrete. Too many people don't think about what do they want someone to do after they watch the ad, after they see the ad. You need to make it idiot proof. In fact, every step of your funnel should be idiot proof as possible. Don't give them a multiple different calls to action. Don't confuse them into what you want to do next. Make it really obvious and really idiot proof. And you might need to spend a bit of time workshopping and getting feedback on if your offer and what you're actually asking people to do is easy enough to understand and is easy enough for them to say yes. It shouldn't be debatable. It shouldn't be You don't want people sitting on the fence because they're a bit confused, or either because it sounds like a load of effort from them. It should be asking a lot of easy yeses for them to get to the next stage of your sales cycle. And remember, this might be the first time they've ever seen an ad from your business, first time they've ever seen anything from your business. They might not be even aware there's a solution to the problem they had. So again, it's an easy ask, and make sure that it's a no-brainer offer to what they should do next. For example, if you're watching this video up to now, you're probably interested in running LinkedIn ads. You might have already done some wasted budget. You might be just exploring and researching before you actually spend budget. It might be your company. You might be working in a marketing team for another company and have to prove to your boss that this is worthwhile investment. The easy ask I'm going to make for you and the no-brainer offer is comment below with your business's website, or if you want to keep it private, you can DM me and you'll be able to find out, I'm sure, how to do that. I will give you 3 free ideas for your business, 3 free exciting scroll-stopping ad angles tailored for your business, no questions asked. Okay, that's an easy, concrete offer, idiot proof. If that's you, comment below. Another little thing or little checklist to make sure that your ads aren't boring is to make sure it has 2 or all 3 of these like emotional trigger points. And every great ad has at least 2 of these. You want to make sure that you're hitting curiosity, emotion, clarity. You want them to be curious enough to even stop and look at the ad, or to curious enough to click through to your website, curious enough to inquire or respond to that DM message. That emotion it needs to make them feel something. It needs to make them feel fear, anger, even that familiarity of connecting with, they understand my problem. It needs to make them feel an emotion and make them feel something rather than just a bland, boring brochure about your company history. Clarity links back into being idiot proof. They need to understand your ad, your offer, your business, the problem you solve in 2 seconds flat. So many businesses try to make things too clever. They try and speak in industry jargon that people don't understand, and it confuses the offer. They try and speak like a business to a business, which means everything reads quite flat or even sounds quite flat and boring and doesn't achieve any of those 3 points that I've just mentioned. And ultimately, if it doesn't do any of those things, it's dead, it's ignored. You can have the ultimate back-end funnel set up. Your website could be this high converting, amazing experience for users. Your sales team could be incredible at closing the leads that come in, and your product could be the best thing in the world. But if you don't even grab their attention and persuade them enough to click through, all that budget is wasted. Let's recap. Turn off audience network. Turn off audience expansion. Make sure your ads are not fucking boring. If you fix these 3 things, your LinkedIn ads will start producing results, and your budget can actually go somewhere useful and get you more leads more often. Like I mentioned in the video, if you're unsure about how to make your company sound more exciting, drop it below and I'll give you 3 free ad examples tailored for your B2B business. If you own or work for a boring, unsexy B2B business, subscribe to the channel and I'll help you get smarter with your marketing spend and your social media advertising. Bye.